Hey Sassperallas, it's your girl Sassy J. You know, I don't need an introduction. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today, we're going to get a little bit more serious. Okay, so today is something that is a lot more personal to me. We're going to be talking about Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, also known as PCOS. We're going to be talking about how it affects women and how it affects me personally. Okay, so before I go any further, guys, please, if you're new to my channel, please make sure you watch this video to the end. Well, I want every one of you to watch this video to the end, regardless of whether you're my OG, okay, or new. But if you are new, make sure you like and subscribe, okay, before you leave, all right? And oh, by the way, I welcome you. And to my OGs, thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Anyways, without any more delay, let's get right into this video. So for those of you who don't know what polycystic ovarian syndrome is, it's basically a hormone imbalance. It's a condition that causes hormone imbalance, and unfortunately it's said to affect 1 in 10 women who lives in the UK. Unfortunately, I'm one of those women out of those 1 in 10. Yes, guys. Symptoms of PCOS tend to be irregular periods or no periods at all in most cases. It could also be excessive male hormones, um, testosterone, basically, which can cause excessive hairs on facial hair, your chest, on your back in a female. Which obviously we know, ladies, we don't like it. Okay, we don't like it. We don't like it. It can cause also hair loss from your head. I get that, guys. I do. Unfortunately, my hair gets thin sometimes, and it does fall out. At the moment, it's quite healthy. I've got no problems with it at the moment, but you know, 1 minute it's going good, and the next minute I like would go like this, and I see like so much hair in my hand. It can also cause excessive weight gain in most people. Bear in mind, you do not have to be overweight to have PCOS. You do have people who are underweight or even normal weight that has PCOS. The thing about this condition is not something that's always obvious. Many people that have it don't even know that they have it. You know, unless there is like signs of the irregular periods and they go to find out why, or most people when they're trying to conceive and they realize like after a year or two they realize it's not happening, they might go to their doctors and try to find out what, you know, the cause of it is, and sometimes the cause is actually PCOS. Now, saying that, you can conceive, let me just put that out there, you can have kids if you got a PCOS. And a lot of women with PCOS actually do have kids without any form of medical medication at all. And I know a few of those ones, okay? Me personally, when I found out I had PCOS, well, to be honest with you, I knew I had PCOS. I was a teenager. My first cycle was late, like very, very late. I think I was about probably 14 going towards 15. I think I was 14. And after my first cycle, it skipped a month, and it was like skipping every other month. And there was a time I went with no periods whatsoever for over a year. So for me personally, and this is hard to come out and say because I don't really talk about this, but I felt the need to because of a question that somebody asked me. I went months, I went over a year without having any form of period whatsoever. In the end, I decided to seek help for it because I knew it was PCOS. But when I went to my doctor, at the time, the doctor that I had kept saying to me, you know, it's not PCOS. And they kept, you know what I don't like? Sometimes when you go, me being a bigger girl and had like a weight issue my whole life, every time I used to go to the doctors, I was told it was your weight. It was your weight. It was your weight. It was your weight. It was always like that for me. So every time I went and I was like, this is not normal. You know, I would be told it is my weight, right? And I remember I went to a clinic once and they asked me, when was your last period? And I said, well, it's almost 2 years. And the guy was shocked. He was like, what? Almost 2 years? That can't be. Like, have you got PCOS? And I went, I think so. My doctor think no, because when I spoke to my doctor and I told him I think it's PCOS, the doctor at the time, thank God it's a different, I've got a different doctor now, completely different doctor surgery. He said to me, I'm the doctor and you're a child. I was 18 years old. Was I even 18? I think I probably was 17 years old the first time I brought it to a doctor. And I was shocked the way that they handled it. I wasn't diagnosed until I was probably about 24. And if I hadn't gone to that clinic, they would have not. Do you know what I mean? It would have not gone forward. I might not have even been diagnosed up until this moment right now, and I'm in my 30s. 20 really, but I like to say, 30s by, 30s by the paper, but 18, but but yes, guys, let me get serious. But so many people out there, when they first hear of it, they get so scared because they don't know what it means for them. Especially if you want to have kids, you think, oh my God, I can't have kids. This is not a fact. Let me just clarify this, because I hear a lot of young girls, and I've watched a lot of videos, and like, oh my God, I thought I would never have kids. No, I've known people. My mom had PCOS, and she's got 5 of us. Unfortunately, PCOS can basically be passed down. Something with genetics and DNA, I can't get into that right now. I'm not a medical profession. Let me just throw that out there. I'm just a person that suffers with PCOS and has basically looked for information to educate myself on the condition that I have. Okay, so let me just put that out there. Anyways, there are treatments that they say if you have PCOS and you are overweight, if you were to lose weight, it could potentially help to reduce your symptoms. It can help to reduce your symptoms, but it's not going to be the case for everybody, basically, But there are medications you can take for it, metformin being one of them. I take the metformin for my PCOS. And when I first took metformin was very good for me. It was really helping, and I took it for years. I've been taking it for years. But I realized when I gain weight, I have to either up the dose of the metformin because it literally stops working. It's not as effective as it was, So this is why I'm constantly trying to make sure that I try to keep the weight down, try to lose weight. But this is the other problem as well, because with PCOS, it becomes harder for you to lose weight than the average person, but it's easier for you to gain weight. So it's like, in order to help, if you're overweight, in order to help you with your PCOS, it's weight loss is a good thing. It's the way that you should be going towards. However, it's not easy to maintain a weight loss when you have PCOS. So you kind of like back against the wall, really, because you're fighting. It's like pushing water up a hill. It's really, really hard to do so because you're struggling, you're fighting constantly with this thing. Okay, so another symptom, before I forget, of this is also acne as well. So that I've listed acne. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to make sure, guys, because I didn't actually write these down. So I'm trying to remember. Acne, excessive hair growth, problems getting pregnant, excess weight gain, hair loss or hair thinning. These are all signs or symptoms of PCOS. PCOS is basically related to a hormone imbalance, like especially insulin, basically. And most people that's got PCOS is insulin resistant. And when you insulin resistant, your body basically rejects your insulin, that it produces, somewhere along that line. But not only that, your body is working, because it's insulin resistance, because of that reason, your body's working kind of like a bit extra to produce more and more insulin to overcome that issue. And the more insulin it produces, the more problem you have, because the harder I have to work to overcome that issue, and the insulin level gets higher, the more testosterone your body end up producing. And for us ladies, that is not good, because that's when it starts to mess with your period. That's when your body's not ovulating properly. And obviously, if you want kids, your body needs to be ovulating. You need to be ovulating in order to be able to have kids. And that's how it is, unfortunately. um but it's a tough thing. Like I've literally now learned to live with it and to deal with it. But it for some people, when they first find out about it, it can be a shocker. I do worry about it sometimes when I think about when I have kids, because I refuse to believe that that won't be an option for me. There's too many things out there, and like I said, I've went through a stage in my life where I was not ovulating at all, and the metformin really did help me. So if you've got PCOS, I would say you could talk to your doctor about medication that could help you to have a regular cycle. Me personally, I was offered the very first time I was offered contraceptive pills, and I didn't see where that would help me whatsoever. In some cases, it does kind of help you to kickstart a period, and if you're not ready to have kids, then it kind of helped, because you will be getting a cycle, or somewhat of a cycle. Because here's the danger for a woman: when you don't get to have a cycle, when you don't have a cycle for more than 6 months, going towards a year, it can be dangerous for us. The lining of the womb can get a bit thick, and it can lead to cancer of the womb, the lining of the womb, basically. So it's not a good thing for us, basically. But unfortunately, like I said, it runs in a family, usually runs in a family. So if you've got PCOS, more than likely somebody else in your family, your mother, your sister, somebody along the line, regardless of whether they know about it or not. Or if you're a mother, more than likely your daughter could potentially have PCOS as well, or in the future, if not now, in the future. Unfortunately, there is no cure for PCOS. Yeah, there's no cure for PCOS. As I stated before, it can be treated. If you're overweight, you can lose weight, or just stick to a healthy, balanced diet. I would suggest a low carb diet. You don't have to cut out carbs completely from your diet. And this is why I always used to go for the ketogenic diet, because when I do keto, I don't have any sugar, and the carb is extremely low. And when I do that, it makes my body insulin sensitive. And that way my body doesn't reject the insulin, and it doesn't have to work over time to produce more insulin. And the insulin level does not get any higher, and it doesn't produce, because the insulin level doesn't get higher to overcome the whole insulin resistant issue. It doesn't produce any more testosterone. And by doing that, when I'm on keto, or when I do water fasting, my body tends to ovulate by itself naturally. I found this when I did the fasting a couple of years ago. I did 30 days juice fasting, and then I also did 14 days water fasting. When I did those fasting, I came off my metformin altogether. Now, before years ago, I wasn't able to have a cycle at all without taking the metformin. And when I did the fasting, I was off the metformin for probably about 9 to 10 months, because the fasting made my body insulin sensitive. And that was such a good feeling, that I didn't have to rely on this medication. It was such a good feeling. Um, I can't even begin to tell you the mood swings that I go through sometimes because of the PCOS. My hormones are just like up, down. When it comes to a cycle, when there is one, it literally, I get so tearful. I can get angry. I could just have little breakdown moments. It can cause depression. It can cause a low sex drive. It can cause high libido. It just depends on how it affects you as a person. For me, it always affected my weight. It's always been that. It affected my mood. I had the whole depression and anxiety issues that was linked to my PCOS. I get very nauseous sometimes as well. Like no matter what I eat, I tend to feel nauseous right after I eat it, or even when I'm eating it. Sometimes just for no reason. So if you find that you're experiencing certain things, I would say get yourself checked out. If you're not getting your period, you know, if you're not, and bear in mind, the polycystic ovaries, even the name polycystic, I don't mean like the normal cyst. These are like little like fluid filled follicles, sorry. And they're not harmful at all. They don't, well, depends on how you look at it, because if you want to have kids, it can like cause a problem for you and it can cause different issues, but it's not the same as having a cyst, if you know what I mean. But yes, guys, yeah, that I just wanted to share that with you guys because I was thinking about it and I was having a conversation about it with somebody, and they wanted to know what it was and how, you know, because this person just found out they have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and they were a bit worried about it. And the thing is, guys, I think that when people find out they got PCOS, their biggest worry is that they won't be able to have kids. And there's a lot of people, as I said before, that's got PCOS. They don't even know they have PCOS and they have kids. There are people out there that's got kids and they know they have PCOS, but they've had kids without any form of medication. However, if you're not one of those people and you need medication, you can get medication. Even if that medication does not work, there is a small procedure that your doctor can do. I'll put the name somewhere up. I think it's I can't remember. I can't pronounce it. I can't remember how it is, but I'll put the name up there for you as well. They can do that for you and it will help you in your journey to become a mother. So guys, if you do find out, or if you ever find out you got PCOS, do not think the worst. Do not let it overwhelm you. Do not let it break you or bring you down, because there's so many ways around it. And yes, I know it does affect us. It really does. But at the end of the day, you cannot, there's so many help that you can get with this thing. You know, you don't need to let it break you, basically. Okay. But if you ever find out, make sure you do your research. Like I said, I'm not a medical profession, or I'm not a medical person or anything of that. I'm just a person that's got PCOS, that's been living with PCOS for many, many years now. And I've managed in some ways to treat it for myself by, you know, my diet. At the moment, my diet is completely off. It's all over the place. So obviously that's not going well. So I'm currently relying on the medication once again. So hopefully time will tell. But all I can say is, guys, if you have any doubts or you have any concerns that you might have PCOS, speak with your doctor and see if you can get that diagnosed so you can start some kind of treatment, or even if it's just a weight loss journey or a healthy eating journey for someone. Because like I said, you don't have to be overweight to have PCOS. You can also be very healthy, very slim, underweight. You know, it affects us. It's just, unfortunately, it affects us women, okay? So go ahead, research it, get some more information on it, and speak to your doctor about it, okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I know this video is a completely different video from what you're used to, but sometimes we have to switch it up and sometimes we have to get serious. And by getting serious, sometimes you end up being personal. So yes, guys, I'm glad I was able to share this with you. And remember, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe now, like, share this video so it can educate other people as well. Okay, but for now, keep it sassy, licious.